Well, we're finally on the road to WrestleMania, and you guys out there all have a choice. You can watch Raw, that gives you 21-second pay-per-view main events, or you can watch SmackDown and get shows like tonight. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your March 7th SmackDown Live review. And for the third week in a row, we're going to have a match to determine who's going to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. But I want to get rid of a little bit of house cleaning, let you guys know what's coming up as we head towards WrestleMania. In the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, I will be reviewing as many shows as possible. SmackDown, NXT, we're not going to review the other show that shall not be named. Might falter here or there. I'm going to be doing a lot of overtime, and that kind of blows because the timing of that really sucks. There will be a tackle for TakeOver, what the fuck is it? TakeOver Orlando. There will be a tackle, obviously, for WrestleMania. I'm hoping to get another small side project with myself and Kristen that will be named at a later date. And I will be doing, the week leading into WrestleMania, I will be doing the March Ask the Phoenix Q&A. I'm going to put a link somewhere around here. Guys, hop on there. Usual suspects, I'm looking at you. Toss your questions in there. I am removing the 10-question limit for the pre-WrestleMania Q&A. Give me as many questions as you want. Zohan, I'm looking at you. That threw me 100 questions last year before I put the limit on there. Guapo, Kristen, OK Fabe, those guys that haven't participated in a while. I'm looking at you guys. Make this Q&A, this pre-WrestleMania Ask the Phoenix, one of the biggest ones we've ever had. I'm looking forward to it. But before that, let's get into SmackDown tonight. Let's get into some of the matches we got set up for WrestleMania, and we'll talk about some of the matches that are coming up on Raw, I guess. With the Lesnar and Goldberg are going to fight for the Fruit Roll-Up Championship, and they're going to call that the main event, and that's just fucking sad. I would rather have Naomi fighting for that belt, but she's busy being a fucking gimp. Anyways, let's talk about this show tonight. We start with a replay of Orton burning down the Wyatt compound and supposedly the spirit of Sister Abigail. But it was brought to my attention on Twitter after I did this video last week that there is viral video of Eric Rowan promoting his return. Apparently he fucked up his shoulder, something in his shoulder, something in his leg. He's been at the Performance Center for a while getting ready for his return. Don't know how that's going to impact WrestleMania, but one of the videos showed him carrying what looked to be a young woman. So it is quite possible that they will run a story either before or after WrestleMania that Sister Abigail was in fact removed from the ground by Eric Rowan before Randy Orton burned the house down, which made you wonder whose guts the worms and maggots were crawling in that awkward video that they did there. But moving on, we come to Shane and Daniel Bryan starting the show. And yes, Raw fans, if there's any of you left, I told you a couple weeks ago, if you still support the Raw brand, you need Jesus in your life. And I'm not even religious, so that says something right there. They will say, hey, you know, Shane and Bryan came out and they started a talking segment. You talk shit about the talking segments on Raw, Raw. The talking segments on Raw last 25 minutes. What did Shane and Daniel Bryan come out and say tonight? Is Styles the #1 contender? Is Orton the #1 contender? Bryan thinks it should be Orton. Shane thinks it should be Styles. So we're going to have Randy Orton versus AJ Styles tonight on SmackDown. Now, this is cool for a bunch of reasons. I mean, it wasn't a surprise. It was promoted on social media since last week. And they acknowledged that, you know, we have a conflict here. That's why we said on social media, and we're telling you all now, this match is going to happen tonight. Now, when everybody said, you know, this person's going to face this person at WrestleMania, this person's going to face this person at WrestleMania, the question of where does AJ Styles fall was one that got kicked around quite a bit. I had said that if Seth Rollins was healthy and if Seth Rollins wasn't facing Triple H, you should have an interpromotional match between AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. The backup plan that I had to that was AJ Styles versus Orton. I wouldn't have minded seeing this at WrestleMania, only because one of my favorite WrestleMania matches, as far as like non-title, non-main event matches, is you go back a couple years, you got Randy Orton versus CM Punk. Nothing on the line. It wasn't a main event thing. It wasn't a number one contenders thing. There were no titles on the line, and it wasn't the last match of the night. It was just a match for the sake of a match, and that year, I think it was one of the best matches on the card. Don't ask me what year. You guys know I suck with timelines. Randy Orton could have a very similar situation with an AJ Styles if given WrestleMania time. I thought that was a great, thing going forward. We see what Randy Orton's doing now. We see what AJ Styles is probably doing now, and I'm pretty sure Randy Orton versus Styles would be better. But that's just me. Backstage, we see AJ Styles confronting both of them, claiming that this is a giant conspiracy and it doesn't matter, he'll jump through one more hoop. He starts mocking Randy Orton and sort of storms off, where you get Daniel Bryan trying to be comical and saying, well, that went well, which is fine. We get, speaking of main event I can't even say main event caliber with a straight face, John Cena and Nikki Bella, historic for the first time ever as a tag team versus James Ellsworth and Carmella. Now, this is comedy all the way around, and we know what it's leading to, but Mauro Ranallo starts off this segment saying that Ellsworth and Carmella go together like booze and social media, which makes me smile. I love Mauro. Mauro's fucking great. Miz and Maurice are at ringside for the match. It distracts Nikki Bella. Super kick by Carmella to start the match. She rides a headlock, but Nikki quickly tosses her out and gets a tag to Cena. Ellsworth looks like he's going to shit his leopard print fucking trunks. He gets pushed into Cena by Carmella. Side slam by Cena, forearm by Nikki, double 5-knuckle shuffle. And yes, because it's fucking comedic shit, I'm not going to badger Nikki Bella because she botched a 5-knuckle shuffle. Go fuck yourself. I'm just saying. Double 5-knuckle shuffle, AA and a Rack Attack 2.0, STF and a Fearless Lock get the double submission win for John Cena and Nikki Bella. Obviously, cheap shots by Miz and the Maurice on the outside, and they take out John Cena and Nikki Bella. They cut a promo. Miz cuts a long-ass promo about how his relationship is so much better than theirs, and they're fake, and they're benefiting from each other, and they're robotic. And it's really, really good. I just didn't write it all down, so there's that. Maurice takes the mic from the Miz, walks to the corner of the ring, looking to the outside where Nikki Bella is still sprawled out on the floor, does the mic drop right out of the ring onto Nikki Bella, and that's the end of the fucking segment. Maurice is not the greatest promo, so when she does a 1 or 2 line little jab at the end, I think it's what works for her. It's like Goldberg, WCW, never the greatest promo. Guess what? Who's next? You're next. Simple. They could take this route with Roman Reigns on Raw, but that would mean Raw doing something that made sense. Anyways, Kurt Hawkins comes out. He's apparently found his balls. He calls out Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose comes out, clotheslines him on the rampway, and then proceeds to make his address to Baron Corbin, saying he's not going to bother calling Baron Corbin out because he won't come out because the lone wolf has been neutered. Ha, ha, ha. Baron Corbin in the back says a bunch of stuff that basically amounts to, hey, I'm not going to come out there just because you told me to. Ambrose says, cool, if you're not going to come out here, second week in a row, I'm going to come back there and find you. And on his way out, dirty deeds to Hawkins on the ramp for good measure. In the back, we see, it's I don't know whether they edited it wrong or whether they put things in the wrong order. We see Dean Ambrose looking for Corbin. We switch over to an interview with Mojo Rawley, who announces himself as the very first participant in the super prestigious Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. He gets belittled by Dolph Ziggler, who's walking around in a really weird looking man bun. And then we go back to Dean Ambrose in the back, who gets attacked by I can speak, I swear, Baron Corbin with a lead pipe, takes him out, and this makes me laugh, okay? Won't make anybody else laugh. Nobody else gives a shit. Makes me laugh because I drive a forklift for a living. Goes and parks a forklift in front of Dean Ambrose and lowers the forks on him. Now, again, with the cheesy factor, me laughing my ass off, yes, they had a big noticeable block under the forks for safety purposes so that he didn't actually crush Dean Ambrose. And yes, for him to lay out Dean Ambrose and Dean Ambrose to just lay there waiting for the forklift because they had to move it slowly and all that was cheese. I get it. But it's still funny, and like I say, touches me personally because I fucking drive a forklift for a living. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. Alexa Bliss comes out for her Blissertation, basically saying that she's going to announce who she's facing at WrestleMania. Me here crossing my fingers saying, please not Naomi, please not Naomi, please not Naomi. We don't need the women's title falling into a black hole once again. And no, that's not racist, guys. Look in your astrology books. A black hole is an actual thing. It's an actual abyss that sucks things, you know, out of existence for all of eternity. Whatever you want to say, it's not racist. Even though you want it to be. I know you want to call me racist so bad with the SJW bullshit because there is no other defense for Naomi. But you can't. I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry. Anyway, she comes out, she brags about being a 2-time SmackDown Live champion. Says her opponent will not be Naomi because instead of sitting home feeling the glow, she's feeling the ow, which made me laugh. She will not be facing Nikki Bella because we all know what Nikki Bella's doing. Her opponent will not be Carmella. Her opponent will not be Becky Lynch, aka the Chucky doll, which is fucking great. Becky Lynch comes out, tells her to shut up, says she has an announcement to make, says she's going to become the champion at WrestleMania. Because apparently she thinks she can make matches. Natalya comes out and says, step aside, Becky. Alexa and I have an understanding since we're both championship material. Alexa Bliss puts her down relatively quickly, saying, Natty, we don't have any understanding, and let me say this to you quite clearly. You are the worst there is, the worst there was, and the worst there ever will be, which made me fucking smile a lot. Mickie James comes to Alexa Bliss's defense, saying, you're all selfish. This is Alexa Bliss's moment, not yours. She's about to announce that she's giving me a title shot at WrestleMania, and Alexa looks at her like, what the actual fuck? Daniel Bryan comes out. Daniel Bryan comes out, gets in Alexa Bliss's face and says, you know, we've been hearing forever how you're the best, you know, the best woman on SmackDown, the best champion we've ever had, 2-time champion, rah, you're better than everybody. We're going to give you a chance at WrestleMania to prove it. And he says, and they word this very awkwardly, you're going to face everybody that's available and willing from the SmackDown women's roster at WrestleMania. So basically, like, you know, remember back in the day when they did the whole Roman Reigns 1 versus all thing? This is quite literally Alexa Bliss in a 1 versus all match, except they don't clarify that. It's not a gauntlet match. It's not some kind of weird tag. It's not a battle royal. And let me tell you, I stayed this time. I usually don't. I stayed for Talking Smack and just to see if they gave any clarification. They don't. They don't clarify the number of people that are in it. They don't clarify fuck all, which is cool. It's cool or it's terrifying because either Alexa Bliss is going to retain, which is going to be great because if you remember the Vicky Guerrero Women's Invitational they did a couple years ago where she tried to screw over AJ Lee and AJ Lee came out on top. I don't think she was quite a babyface at the time. But she still came out on top versus all odds and all that sort of thing. Or they could be using this to have a surprise entrant like a, I don't fucking know, like a Nikki Cross or an Ember Moon or whatever at WrestleMania because that's a huge way to introduce somebody. Or they could just be doing it to bring Naomi back and once again title falls in the black hole. I have to come up here again and declare the title missing again, and I just don't want to do that. So we're gonna hope that SmackDown doesn't go. That's Raw writing right there. We're gonna hope that they don't do that. But this was a good segment. Daniel Bryan being the uber babyface, Alexa Bliss being the amazing bitch heel that she is, made this segment. And then Daniel Bryan sets up a tag team match, makes up a random joke about Teddy Long since Teddy Long's going in the Hall of Fame, and we've got Alexa Bliss, who just pissed off her partner Mickie James, and Becky, who just pissed off her partner Natalya, and we're going to town on that. Snapmare by Natty, and they trade shots, and there's a takedown by Bliss, a basement dropkick by Natty, and a collar and elbow tie-up by Mickie and Becky. Front face lock by Becky, rolling arm drags and a dropkick. Double team by Bliss and James, a mud hole stomp by Bliss, a takedown by Bliss, a dragon screw by Becky, and a leg drop, a forearm by Becky, a trip by James. James rides a headlock for a long ass time, back elbow, head scissor, mud hole by Bliss, choke on the ropes, and a slingshot snake eyes. James and Becky trade punches for a long time, mounted cross faces by James, forearms by Lynch, enziguri, and a clothesline. Suplex by Natty on her partner Becky Lynch. Gets the win. Not only does it get the win, but James tries to go for the pin. Alexa Bliss tags herself in, being like, fuck you, it's my victory, and she gets the win, which is great. Alexa Bliss pinning Becky Lynch once again. Natty fucked off. Mickie James gets to be pissed off, and instead of crazy heel, be sort of crazy tweener going into whatever the hell this match is. If it's one of those things where they don't really tell you what the match is until WrestleMania. Do you remember when they first introduced the concept of the Elimination Chamber. Eric Bischoff came out and he says, this is going to be my best creation ever. It's going to be a mix of the Royal Rumble, the War Games, and Hell in the Cell. And that's all he really said, but he didn't tell you what the match was until that night. If they go that route with this, I won't mind it 100%. I hope it's not a generic Battle Royal, because we already have the Andre Battle Royal. If it's a gauntlet match, fine. Use it to either put over Alexa Bliss, introduce a new star, just don't waste it on Naomi because she's fucking trash. Oh, yes. And in the main event, AJ Styles versus Orton. Now, two things were going to happen here. Either the authority figures were going to get involved, which didn't happen. Either Bray Wyatt was going to jump Randy Orton, which didn't happen. Or the most predictable thing in this whole match is you're going to see a phenomenal forearm countered into an RKO. Right? Oh, yes. Orton misses the RKO early and Styles bails, and that's how we start the match. Collar and elbow tie-up. I can't read my writing. Orton rushes Styles in the corner. Side headlock by Styles. Back suplex by Orton. Shoulder tackle by Orton. A boot and some corner spears by Styles. Orton stomp, and then he hangs the Styles. I'm tired, guys. Orton hits the Orton stomp and then hangs Styles gut first on the ropes. Why are we buzzing? That doesn't need to happen right now. Chop block by Styles in a knee bar, chain wrestling sequence, and Styles keeps working the leg, rides a headlock, and a clothesline by Orton. Power slam, full Nelson, and a full Nelson bomb. Snake eyes by Styles, Ushi-Goroshi, which is, I'm pretty sure how you pronounce that. Ty Dillinger does it in NXT. He calls it the tiebreaker, but I'm trying to figure out how you pronounce that. Not to be a smartass, I just like to know how to say things properly. Grow up in Brampton, you'll understand. Calf crusher, suspension DDT by Orton, and a Pele by Styles. Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm. Orton goes to counter it into an RKO the way we've all been predicting for months. If these two guys face, this spot will happen. He'll go for the phenomenal forearm, it'll get countered into an RKO. But instead of jumping off for the forearm, AJ Styles plants his feet back on the apron, and Orton lands flat on his back. And I laughed out loud when I saw that. Styles gets back in the ring, rolls through. Orton hits him with what I can only describe as a pop-up RKO for the eventual win. And what I expected to happen after that was that Wyatt would come screaming out of the crowd and attack Orton and set the pace immediately for their match at WrestleMania. That didn't happen, which is fine. Styles, if you watch .com, he went to the back. He had a really, really heated segment with Shane McMahon after this match. Pissed off that he lost his opportunity at WrestleMania, getting in Shane McMahon's face. It was really funny because not only do you see the confrontation being broke up by Michael Hayes and Road Dogg of all people, you see Michael Cole, the goof that he is, standing in the corner looking like a paralyzed fucking robot. It made me smile. But more to the point, Bray Wyatt did not come out. Which means one thing. Why are you buzzing? You guys know, why is this a thing? Right here. Anyway, that probably didn't even show up on camera because my fucking charger cord is short. Moving on. I like this because Bray Wyatt is broken. He's fractured. He's emotionally shattered. If they want to make Bray Wyatt truly the next, phenom-like, ghost-like, monster-like, Undertaker next generation type person, you put the idea out there for the next 3 weeks that Bray Wyatt, your champion, has been completely shattered. Nobody's seen him. You do not see Bray Wyatt until he comes down the ramp at WrestleMania. If they weren't going to have him jump him immediately as soon as he became the #1 contender, don't show him until WrestleMania. And then he comes out like a house of fire. It's fucking great. Now, I don't review 205 Live, and I don't really review Talking Smack with you guys anymore. But I will say Austin Aries came out. He had his first match on 205 Live tonight. It was against Tony Nese. He basically called out Neville. Neville told him to stay on commentary. It's going where it's going. We just haven't had it confirmed yet. My boy The Miz. You guys know I'm incredibly biased towards The Miz. I think he's an incredibly underutilized guy. Even now that he's having his day in the sun as a heel and they're letting him be more serious, I still think he's not being utilized nearly as much as I think he could be. If you want proof of that, Go watch Talking Smack tonight. The entire second half of Talking Smack is The Miz talking to Daniel Bryan and Renee Young, but just destroying John Cena. I'm not going to try and break it down for you. I'm not going to tell you everything they said. I'm not going to try and quote it because I would fucking ruin it. If you have any faith in what I have to say at all, and you didn't see Talking Smack tonight, go watch Talking Smack tonight. So, coming out of Fastlane, we got all that bullshit on the way out and over and ready to be done with. We got all the videos, told you guys about before, that are coming down the pike leading into WrestleMania season. I'm going to ask you guys, once again, please make that pre-WrestleMania Q&A as fun as we possibly can. Mania so far. We know we're getting Lesnar Goldberg for the Fruit Roll-Up Championship. We know we're getting Owens Jericho for the U.S. Championship. We know we're getting Sasha versus Charlotte versus Bayley for the Women's Championship on Raw because they want to try and have the 4 horsewomen. You know, they swapped out Bayley for Becky this year. I don't even know. We got Alexa Bliss versus everybody, which I think is going to be fucking great. We've got Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton now confirmed. We've got Andre the Giant's Memorial Battle Royal, which has Mojo Rawley in it, and also has Apollo Crews in it, which was confirmed on Talking Smack, although that doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure Braun Strowman's going to be in that, which is really, really... Okay, little side note. If nothing else, Raw is fucking useless. But Raw proved to us last night that at this point, people hate Roman Reigns so much, they popped louder for the potential conflict between Undertaker and Braun Strowman than they did for Roman. If I'm WWE and I see how the crowd reaction went down last night in Chicago, I rewrite my fucking script, I find some other bullshit for Roman Reigns to do, and let it just be Monster versus Monster, Undertaker versus Braun Strowman. Who gives a fuck? Nobody wants to see Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. There's no good ending to that story. But put Braun Strowman in the Battle Royal with Mojo and Cruz and everybody else that doesn't have a fucking match. Oh, there's going to be cruiserweights in there, and they're going to get squished. That's unfortunate. Now, on the other side of the coin, you got the matches that we're pretty damn sure are happening, just haven't been made official yet. Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. Baron Corbin versus Dean Ambrose after the forklift shtick tonight. Cena and Nikki versus Miz and Maurice, which the more people hate it, the more I sit back and smile. Aries is probably taking on Neville. If we get a second cruiserweight match, we're going to get Tozawa versus Kendrick. And I don't exactly know how they're going to justify it, seeing as Shane was on AJ's side tonight, but we're still probably getting Shane versus AJ Styles, which is just... AJ Styles should be doing something so much better. No offense to Shane McMahon, obviously. I will say, if he was medically cleared and AJ Styles had a problem with the establishment, a problem with the babyface authority figures, they could do AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, and the marks would sit there and jerk off in the corner. But then again, if he was medically cleared, he wouldn't be the GM because he'd still be wrestling. So that's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? All right, I've rambled on for quite long enough, longer than 20 minutes, which is a lot longer than I meant for this video to be. Having a lot of fun. We're on our way to WrestleMania. Everything's either awesome or funny to me at this point, so I'm kind of in a good mood. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.